welcome back to another episode of the Sports Syllabus Show. I'm your host, John Shakota, and I'm joined by
John Gazdar. How we doing?
Good. So John, you are the first professional athlete that I've ever had on the show. So thank you and congratulations for being the first pro athlete.
Thanks so much. Yeah, grateful to be on here and excited for our talk, man. Let's have a good one.
Definitely. So as I was telling you before we started recording, um, I have my mom today. She's working, so she just sent in some audio clips and she asked two questions. They're kind of serious, non-serious questions that I have to all my guests that I have on. So I'll play her questions. I'll play them in the microphone, and then we'll get started with my questions.
Sounds good.
Did you ever imagine yourself doing what you do now in sports, or did you have a totally different dream?
No, so yeah, that's a great question. For me, baseball's always been my dream. I have two older brothers, Brandon and Christian, and
Hmm.
they played baseball when I was a kid. And I mean, so really for as long as I remember, ever since I've been, shoot, 3, 4 years old, maybe I've always wanted to be a professional baseball player. And I'm extremely grateful now that I get to live out that dream. And I'm just trying to
Hmm.
keep chasing that dream of being a professional ball player in the big leagues for as long as I can.
Totally. And then here's the next question.
If you could eat only one snack during every game for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
One snack
Yeah,
during the game?
yeah. I know you're not a. Most
Ooh.
people snack a few during the game, but I don't really see you in my Bat Boy experience games. I haven't seen you as much. You're not as much of a snacker.
Nah, when it comes to when I'm playing in the games, usually not too much, but I love to chew on some sunflower seeds for sure,
Hmm.
especially on an off day. On an off day where
Yeah.
I'm not playing, I'll
Hmm.
mess up a bag of seeds or two.
Especially, I have
Especially.
a a different sort of respect for you guys in the Peoria Chiefs, especially because you guys only get original ones. That's what they provide,
Mhm.
and I like my seasonings on them. So just the fact that you guys eat those day and day is crazy. I like the seasoning ones, like the taco ones and all those the dill pickle ones from Biggs. Biggs is really good. Cracked
Yeah,
pepper's
that was
good.
me too. No, I'm the same way. I'm a flavored guy for sure. So there's a couple days where if I have an idea, if I'm not playing the next day or something, I might hit the gas station and get a couple flavors or two to just kind of mix
Exactly.
it up a little bit.
So, you talked about, now you're officially a pro, but what's your game day routine looking like? I know your post game routine, you usually go and get some extra reps in after the game, but what is it usually like before the game?
Just kind of depends on the game day. So I'll kind of run you through like a normal like 6:30 start for say. Depends on the day. We don't always do the same exact thing as a team for as far as practice wise, but for me, I usually like to show up to the field a little bit earlier just to be able to get to the field, kind of hang out a little bit, chill, listen to music, and I'd say that's one of my main routines. I love listening to music, just kind of getting my
Hmm.
vibes going and making sure I'm in a solid mood for the game. But usually I'll get there around say I don't know maybe 1 to 2 p.m. and kind of start to get loose, and then usually it's like we'll do some defense and some early hitting, and then maybe have a little bit of a break, like 15 to 30 minutes in between, just kind of going off the groups. And then we'll usually do some on-field hitting or some on-field base running, stuff like that. So that'll usually last a couple hours. And then so that's pretty much my day from 1 to maybe 4:30 on those game days.
Yeah.
So usually from like 4:30 to 6, kind of more time to just chill in the clubhouse. We'll have a meeting, kind of go over the pitcher, what to expect, or go over base running, just everything that prepares us for the game. And then usually if I can, I love to get a little bit of time again, like just kind of listen to music, going in the weight room. My main routine as far as like when I have a little bit of free time right before the game is I love to get in the weight room, just kind of have a little bit of time to myself, maybe just do like extra stretching, use the Theragun on my whole body and
Hmm.
make sure my body's loose and prepared for the game. And I just try to make sure I'm taken care of physically in every single aspect. When I
Yeah,
when
totally.
I when I get on the field, I want to be at 100%, be able to give everything that I have on that day. And so, everything leading up to the game is really just making sure I'm prepared to be able to do that, be able to stay
Hmm.
healthy, and be able to give my all. So, right before the game, if on home games, we'll usually hit about like 40 minutes before the game.
Hmm.
And then so pretty much leading up to the game after that, after we hit, it's go time. Pretty much we'll go up, play catch, and get ready, and then go on and try and entertain and put on a show for the fans.
Hmm. Yeah, totally. Um, so you talked about how you have two older brothers. They both played in college. So what is it like having two older brothers too who played in college? Like, does that kind of motivate you? Because I have a younger brother, so I know what it's like. You got to kind of humble your little brother. So does having older brothers kind of help you kind of want to be better?
Yeah, definitely. So, growing up, that was all three of our dreams, was to play professionally at some level. Both of my brothers got the chance to play in college ball. My oldest brother got to play at Chapman University, and then my other brother Brandon got to play at a junior college named Los Medanos. But unfortunately, he dealt with some injuries that ended up hurting his career and ended it a little bit earlier than he would have hoped. But growing up and just seeing them go after their dream every single day and working hard after it every single day, I couldn't have asked for better role models, you know. So I'm extremely grateful to them. And you know, truthfully, as a little brother, more than it was less of the bullying that you kind of get from some older brothers and more of the baby mode kind of for me.
Yeah.
You know, they would kind of go out a little bit if anything. You know, they were closer in age. They're only 2 years apart, and I'm 6 and 8 years apart from them. So for me, I was kind of babied and grateful to them either way, just because you know they always just stress the importance of being able to just work hard every day and be able to believe in yourself. And I'd say from a young age, that was something that was extremely influential on me, and something I'm still thankful for them for every single day, just because you know they didn't have to be that way and they didn't have to be as motivating as they were, but they're always in my corner and always supporting me and no matter what. So extremely grateful to them. They've been a huge uh, inspiration in my whole career. So I'm always going to be thankful for them.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I have my brother, and when we were younger, we didn't hate each other, but you always had that little brother sort of he's annoying and stuff.
Yeah,
And once you get
going at each
older,
other a
like
little bit.
once you get older, you start to realize like, okay, now it's more of we're just we're friends. It's not like we beef or anything. You have you re- you both mature, and it seems like your brothers have been doing that for you ever since you were younger. So your college career was different than most people. You started at, I might be saying the name wrong, Chabat College. Did I say it correctly?
Chabot, close.
Chabot.
That's what it looks to be. Yeah, Chabot. Yep.
Um. So what was playing at Chabot College like?
For me, that was actually a very career changing moment. Super grateful for it. So what's kind of hard to find on the internet actually is that out of high school, I went to San Jose State, ended up
Yep, I
redshirting for a year.
saw that.
But yeah, so I went there my very first year as freshman and didn't end up playing. Came off of COVID. I graduated in spring of 2020, so like pretty much if you're not from California, it's kind of hard to know, but like the way we were doing, you know, the COVID protocols and just everything out there was a lot different than a lot of other parts of the world. So my whole fall at San Jose State, you know, we barely did anything, and then even in the season we lost. I think we missed about 21 games. We only played 35
Wow.
games. Yeah, we played 35 games instead of the usual like 56, 57 or whatever it may be in college that you see today. But anyways, going off of there, I wanted to find a new route and find a new home. It just wasn't a great fit for me, and so that's why I say going to Chabot was really life changing for me and career changing because it was a risk for sure to get out of Division I baseball after achieving that. You know, that was an opportunity I always wanted to achieve coming out of high school and just trying to make my brothers and my family proud. And so getting the opportunity to go to junior college and then getting that table actually play was really life changing just because it was a new route and I mean it was a completely different experience. I mean, you go from living in the dorm room and you're 5 minutes away to the field to I was commuting every single day,
Mhm.
driving about usually over an hour. I mean, some days if I was lucky in the morning, it'd take an hour to get to the field, and then pretty much you spend the day there from 11 to 5 or 6 because you got a long practice and then a lift, and then usually on the ride back you got some traffic, so you're dealing with over an hour. So it was a grind and it definitely humbled me, but it created a whole new appreciation for me for the game. For me, just knowing I had the opportunity to play, keep my career going, not knowing what the next step would be, create a completely new perspective for me, and so that was something that I definitely needed at the time, and I'm super grateful for my time there. I mean, I had amazing teammates, amazing coaching staff, and just an overall amazing experience. Completely turned my baseball career around and my life around as a whole. Can't thank those guys enough and that coaching staff. I mean, they believed in me from the moment I got there, and that's it was something that I couldn't get from a lot of other places. So I'm super grateful for them and for that school and that experience.
Exactly. Like I'm at Bradley, and a lot of like our athletes, and especially our basketball guys, a lot of the guys start at JUCOs and just say how much that affects them and how they now they come to the D1 level and they just see a lot more success and stuff because of how different and how much like you don't appreciate how much you have at the D1 level until you go to like a smaller school and realize how much more work and stuff you have to put in. So a lot of the guys are like, "Wow,
Yep,
this is really it's
yep,
a complete change," and you feel like you're steps ahead because you've worked so much harder.
definitely.
Um, so what out of your coaches, if you had to pick like one or two, which coaches have helped you the most in your career?
Wow, it's a great question. Realistically, I really want to say both my brothers, to be honest. I
Fair.
mean, as far as baseball early on, I mean, they were pretty much my biggest influence all the way till I was up to, high school. And I mean, they're my biggest mental coaches as well. Across the whole journey when I was, shoot, even before I was in middle school, maybe when I was like 9, 8, 9, 10, they would give me a lot of motivational talks just about the importance of just working hard and being able to, just kind of have a blind side to anybody who is in your way or maybe hating or not, maybe just anybody who doesn't believe in you. And so, I mean, being that they both kind of kind of set the route for me. Like they both played shortstop in high school. They
Hmm.
were the guy in high school, like they kind of told me like, when that's gonna be my first step. Like when I get to high school, there's probably gonna be people that don't believe in me or they say that I'm gonna play shortstop just because my brothers did and
Hmm.
already paid for me. It's too easy, but they're always super big on just the importance of believing in myself and being able to just be a better person, a better player than I was yesterday. So I'm just super super grateful to them. No matter what, they always were in my corner. Besides that, I'd probably have to say my coaches in my colleges at Austin P
Hmm.
and Chabot are
Yeah,
equally as influential as people. Truthfully, I'd have to say my coach at Chabot for my 1 year there was awesome.
totally.
The whole staff there I really loved, but I mean like from the minute they started recruiting me, they made me feel like I was wanted there and
Hmm.
um really, like they believed in me a lot, and they were just always in my corner from the get. And even when I was first being recruited, I still remember the way he talked to me. He's like, "Dude, like you're John Gazdar. Like you're a guy. Like you're not just a player that wasn't good enough for D1. Like you're a real player and you're a guy." And so just knowing that I had somebody in my corner like that. That's Coach Will Tavis, by the way, the head coach. He was there for a good amount of time, and he's still there as well. But just having that belief in me was big time at that time.
Totally. Totally, like, with a lot of guys, it's usually their older brothers or their dads because, yeah, you've had great coaches throughout your careers, like, I was a baseball player, I've told you, and I had a lot of great coaches, but I think my dad's my best because your dad has seen you your brothers or dad has seen you your whole life, they've seen you grow and develop, so they know your
Yep,
weaknesses, even though they might not, know everything about baseball, they've known enough about you and how you play
yeah,
the game,
person. Yep,
it's just a different understanding.
absolutely, 100%.
So, you started your career at San Jose State, then you went to Shabbat, then after Shabbat, you went to Austin Peavy. So, what drew you to Austin Peavy instead of going to? Because you had a lot of success at Shabbat. So, a lot of guys usually take the mid major and then go to another Power Five. So, what drew you to Austin Peavy?
The thing about Austin P is that really, I mean, I just had the best visit there. Coming out of Chabot, even though that junior college is in California, I had a decent year, but I wasn't anything, like nationally ranked or anything like that. Any of the crazy awards or accolades that you see from a lot of these guys coming out of those schools. So I didn't get recruited to anywhere on the West Coast at all. So I was hitting up emails to a whole bunch of people. My coaches were, and I literally didn't get recruited by a single school. The very few that replied to me, they kind of told me to either go back for a second year, but I didn't want to spend my true junior year at a junior college if I had the opportunity to play Division 1 right away. So that summer after junior college, I played out in Kokomo for the Jackrabbits of the
Hmm.
Northwoods League. Great opportunity. And while I was out there playing, I started getting recruited by a decent amount of schools from like the Midwest or the Mid East. So I took a couple visits, was close to going to a couple other schools. And the funny story about Austin P is that I was getting recruited to University of Evansville uh,
Oh,
So by the pitching coach, he was one of the first people to find me out of junior college. I ended up taking my visit super early there, like in June, or super early in the summer, like in June. And then about a week after I take that visit, the coach ended up leaving Evansville and ended up going to Austin P. And so that was actually where he went to college and played himself. And so he didn't want to jump the gun and start recruiting me like right away when he left Evansville because he didn't know how to feel about it. And then he finally hit me up about a couple weeks later and was like, "Yo, dude, I moved schools. I'd love to get you out here." And I was kind of that. They recruited me and like my best friend from the team on the Northwoods. They recruited us both. I was a shortstop. He was second baseman. My good friend Matt Arable, and so they wanted us to take a visit together. And I wasn't really too sure if I was even going to go because I was kind of set on a couple other schools and had told them previously like that I would make a decision sooner than I did, and I made them wait and didn't feel the best. But I ended up taking the visit to Austin P and man, I'm so grateful that I did because just the energy that I felt, just being there at the field. I love the city. I thought it was a great city just for a good stopping point, and I love the staff. I met three of the coaches that were on staff there, and I loved them all. They were awesome. Had exactly what I was looking for, and they just seemed to provide the best opportunity for me. I knew that going in there, I was going to have an opportunity to battle for infield spots all across the infield, and that was what I wanted and needed the most at that time was just the opportunity. And so, hearing everything from the coaches and just hearing the opportunity as a whole was exactly what I wanted to hear, and it was what I wanted to do. So, I'm super
Exactly.
glad I made that.
Yeah, and you struggled a little bit in your first season, but then the next 2 seasons, you were one of the best players in the country. At Austin Peay, you had a career 357 average, which is insane. So, what do you attribute to having that level of success? You even hit
Um,
400 in your junior year. I just wanted to put that out there.
yeah, thank you. For me, it was just the environment as a whole. Our first year, we kind of set the boundary, kind of set our stepping stones for the year, and in that second year, we ended up bringing back pretty much every single piece in the lineup besides our center fielder, who was my roommate, Garen Martin. He's playing with the Yankees, awesome player. But I was just, from the minute I got there, I was surrounded by a great environment, extremely, extremely open to all hitters. And I mean, what made us great about our offense is that our hitting coach John Littell, he was a professional player for the Dodgers not too long ago. Like he played from in the pros, I believe, from 17 to 2020. Um, but his biggest thing was like he was super free and open to everybody having their own approach and having their own stance or whatever it may be. You know, you see certain schools where they're trying to kind of be even MLB organizations where they're trying to be cookie cutter and trying to make guys hit a certain way and they have to have this certain stance, this certain load. You know, it was never like that at Austin P. Like you see me in my swing, a lot of people will call it kind of wackier out there or
Yeah.
whatever it may be, or simply it's just different from other people and not I like to say non-traditional, but biggest thing about that was along the way, like our hitting coach and our environment was always open to letting us feel whatever we wanted to feel and just kind of work on whatever we wanted to work on. You know, they were always there for assistance for us, but the environment as a whole, hitting wise, was more like it wasn't based on mechanics or hitting a certain way. It was about more about the approach that we had and being able to attack the certain pitches that we wanted and being able to play to our strengths. So they did a great job of recognizing that, you know, when there's 9 hitters in the lineup and they all 9 might have a different approach and different
Mhm.
strengths in the game. And just having that opportunity to be myself and play as my full authentic self was everything that I needed at that point. Being in different environments and throughout my past life. You know, maybe kind of they want you to have a predetermined approach, whatever it may be, but they were always super open to letting us play how we wanted to play, and so that was the biggest difference for me.
Exactly. I mean, I like to relate your stance a lot to Jason Kipnis just because Jason Kipnis had kind of a different stance, but he was one of the best players. So like his stance doesn't mean anything because if you hit the ball, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah,
Exactly.
obviously, you want to like I know the basics and stuff. So like there's got to be some stuff that you got to do, but still it doesn't affect anything. Like you're still hitting you're changing the object. Like that video of Barry Bonds.
Of course.
The
Yep.
object is changing from the glove to the bat. Giants legend, by the way. I know you're from the Bay Area. I had to give you some Giants love.
That's fire. I love that. Yeah, no, that's
After a rough
I'm big on
series
that.
against the Twins.
Yeah, no, I'm big on that. 100%.
Um, so you talked about now how your stance is a little different. You're not a crazy power threat, in the sense of like a baseball where now it's big on power and low average, a lot of power, and you're successful. You're the opposite. You're high average, high on base. So what why do you think you're sort of a contact oriented like player?
For me, that's kind of the player that I am now is kind of similar to what I've always been. I mean, my one thing is ever since I've been, as long as I can remember, I've always hated striking out. Like, there's
Yeah.
some guys that, like obviously, no one, I can't say any hitter likes striking out, but like me is, I've never liked it. I've always kind of hated it, and so that's the one thing that I've never liked. I've always felt that when I get to two strikes, I could battle with the pitcher, and if I can be an annoyance to them and foul pitches off, make a long at bat, see more pitches for my team. That's helping my team way more than just
Hmm.
going up there waving trying to hit a homer.
Exactly.
So for me, that's just kind of always been my game. I've always focused on hitting the ball hard, not hitting it far. I mean, hitting it far is kind of a byproduct because
Exactly.
really, when you really square a ball up to its fullest, it's not a home run, it's a line drive every time.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
unless you're Aaron Judge and you're, that size and that stature
Yeah,
where you try and hit homers, he can do it 60 times a year where it's like he's
exactly.
trying to do it because his misses are still going to be homers. For me,
It's
if I miss a ball, it's gonna be a fly out, if I'm missing
uh-huh.
under. So for me, it's always the importance always been just about controlling what I can control, swinging good
Hmm.
pitches and just trying to hit the ball hard. And, I think power is something that develops with time and with
Exactly.
size and everything like that. And I believe I'm still really young in my pro career,
Hmm.
so not saying that I'll be how I am for my whole career, but I believe as time goes on and as I really become a man and grow and age and mature, that they'll start to see more balls backspin off my bat, and who knows, maybe go over the fence, but.
Exactly.
For as long as I've been a player day in and day out, my goal every single day when I'm hitting is if I'm swinging, I'm just trying to catch the barrel and trying to hit a ball hard somewhere and hit a line drive. So that plan's not really going to change for a while, I believe.
Exactly.
Even as long as I play, I'm going to be trying to hit line drives. But there's certain situations and counts where you're going to want to elevate maybe a little more, try and hit a double at least. But for as long as I know, and my background's always been based on just trying to hit the ball hard and good things will happen. So,
Exactly.
I've always grown up on.
Yeah, because like we see, like you're a leadoff guy, so the job of a leadoff hitter is to work counts and help your lineup see all of his different pitches, and especially now in major leagues where you can have the iPads and stuff in the dugout, so you
Yeah,
can see what pitches and what sort of spin rate and all that stuff. As a leadoff
100%.
hitter, that's a great approach because you want to help your team because you want to win games too. Yeah, your success alone is great, but team success is what baseball is. So
Right.
I think that's a great sort of mindset going into it. Um, what did Austin PV do for your baseball career?
It turned my life around. I'm super grateful. I mean, just that bunch of guys, that environment is uncomparable in anywhere else. I mean, our head coach Roland Fanning, I mean, he's never just gonna say like, "Hey, what's up? How are you doing?" Like, if you see anything about him on the internet, everything about is about him real. Like you see him in the morning, he's gonna like freaking yell at you like, "John, what's up, dude?" Like, no matter what, like that dude's fired up to be at the field and fired up to get better every day. So for me, being in an environment like that where you have 50 guys in an organization all pulling for the same thing, and every single day that you show up, everyone wants to be there and everyone wants to get better. I mean, it's just incredibly influential, and it explains why we had so many guys go professional.
Exactly.
I mean, including myself, we had five guys playing professionally now after that, and I mean that's coming from a team that we didn't even make a regional, we didn't even make it out of the tournament. So it just goes to show the um just the environment that we had, just so
Mhm.
influential, and I'm super grateful because all those players and all those staff, they always believed in me, and especially coming back after our first year, we just had a solid like stepping grounds for what we need to do to get better, and we had a really successful year, even though we didn't make it to a regional and make it out of this tournament. We had a super successful year where
Exactly.
we had a lot of guys play. We have a lot of guys play professionally, like I said, and um, the players that did return and went back, we're having a lot of great success. So
Hmm.
for me, I'm super grateful because I mean that's an environment and some baseball that I don't know if I'll ever get to experience again. I mean, it was
Exactly.
every single day it was freaking guys going their
Yeah.
hardest and guys just happy to be at the field every single day. So super grateful
Yeah.
for that.
And also, I've done a deep dive on some of your Instagram just to look at kind of like just to see where you teams you're on and stuff before when I was writing up these interviews. Also, the uniform game there is pretty nice. I have to admit, the uniforms are
Yeah,
pretty sick.
yeah.
Um, what was it like being named an All American?
That was a super cool experience for me. That's a goal and a dream that, you know, while I'm on a daily basis, all I'm trying to do every day is be a better player than I was yesterday. I'm trying to be 1% better than I was yesterday, trying to improve on any flaws that I have any day. But when it comes to major goals like that, I set big goals for myself and big expectations for myself as well. And for me, like along with my goals of making it to the regional and playing long and playoff baseball, I always try to set team goals first, but there's always, of course, a couple personal goals I like to set, and that was one of them that I had from before I had entered college as a whole. I mean, I've
Hmm.
always wanted to be All American. That was something that I knew if I could accomplish that, I would never regret and always be thankful for. So, I was in the Cape when I found out. Just kind of just driving with my boys. I think we were going to the gym or something. And really cool experience.
That's
I
awesome.
was I was with my three roommates, and I just saw the tweet like just going over the list of players, and I clicked on it, saw my name, and kind of all freaked out, and we were all yelling,
Yeah.
high fiving together. So I mean, having those guys with me, my three roommates at the time were Nick Groves, Eric Snow, and Stone Cushing, and wow, I mean those really close friends of mine, and I mean having all those
Exactly.
by my side, and I got announced, they were all super pumped for me and happy for me. So
Exactly.
it was a once in a lifetime experience, and I'm super grateful
That's awesome.
for that recognition. I try not to let my life or my career be defined by accolades because
Exactly.
I don't believe that's part of it. But just to get a little bit of recognition every once in a while, and being that 2 years prior I was cut from a Division I team to be an
Hmm.
All American. I mean, in the long run, it's really cool to look back and see that improvement. So definitely gave myself a little bit of props for that, and just grateful for everybody else that in my corner that helped me get to that point.
Totally. And you talked a little bit about the Cape Cod League. You were in it for 2 seasons. Um, what was it like with the Harbor Hawks, and what did playing in the Cape Cod League do for you in your career?
That was huge for me. Absolutely huge for me. For me, that was also one of my big goals. Just even before I got to college, the whole that's a league that you kind of hear about. Just in high school and stuff like that. So I always
Yeah.
thought it was cool to see the experience and just see the other players that would all go there. And so after my junior season, or well, my after my redshirt sophomore season at Austin P, started to get a little bit of buzz from the coaches that I would maybe get opportunity to play there, and then I actually didn't get the chance to play there right out of season. Went home, played about I think 7, 8 games with my hometown like summer team, pretty close to me, and then it's funny enough, I think I played about 4 or 5 games and then got the call saying like, "Hey, like let's get you out here to the Cape and play for Hyannis." So I finished up that week and went out there. But getting the opportunity was amazing. I've met so many great teammates, so many great players. Had a great staff there as well and a great environment. But really just the opportunity to be around that many different players in those 2 years and make as many relationships as I did was an awesome experience, and
Hmm.
got a lot of great experience off the field as well. Kind of like doing interviews and podcasts out there like
Yeah.
I'd never done before. I mean, in that second year, I could say I was doing a lot of stuff off the field as far as like interviews, stuff like that. So just knowing that I had that kind of before transitioning into my professional career was pretty cool. Just
Yeah.
knowing that all those experience would help me in the long run, and being able to do it was cool. And I mean, it
Hmm.
was just playing as a whole was an amazing experience. I mean, we had an amazing environment every night. We had a crazy group of fans no matter what game we played. I mean, it was always energy in the ballpark, and I mean, just being around there. I mean, it was definitely very uplifting for my career. Getting to face some adversity as well in my first year. Didn't start out the hottest, and then finished a lot better than I started. Definitely just being able to and learn how to play every day as well because out there
Yeah.
it's different from college. How college you play Tuesday and then you play on the weekend.
Hmm.
Unlike out there, it's like you're playing every single day. So
Exactly.
getting that experience is similar to professional baseball, and so I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the transition from college there, and I'm super grateful for everybody there. And it was just an awesome environment and everything I could have dreamed of and hoped for going out there. I mean, it was everything that I had saw and seen online was everything that maxed my expectations and maybe even exceeded my expectations. So I'm super grateful to
Exactly.
be out there.
Yeah, and now we'll kind of transition to your other professional career. Now you're on the St. Louis Cardinals in the St. Louis Cardinals organization. What was that moment like hearing your name called and then getting that call? What was that like? Take us through that.
It was awesome. So I was with my family for day 2 and day 3. Kind of hoping to hear my name called day 2, of course. And that was kind of what I was hearing and thinking, but that was okay because I mean I didn't get picked on day 2, and that kind of help put a little bit more of a chip on my shoulder. That I've kind of always had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder just because just being who I am and just always being grinding and having to be a better player. But for me, I mean, we didn't have to wait too long on day 3. Thankfully, I was the seventh pick of that day, so being that I was able to be around my family and everything for that moment was amazing. Super
Hmm.
grateful just for everything, for having them in my corner and hearing that call from my agent and from somebody in the Cardinals organization. I mean, it was everything I could have hoped for. So
Exactly.
it's definitely just surreal to explain it the least. Yeah, I mean, I had an idea the Cardinals were picking me, but I still wasn't 100% based on what I'd heard from my agent leading up to it. So when I saw it live, my reaction was live and everything, and so we were all me and my family
Totally.
were super happy. So it was a
Exactly.
surreal moment.
And like, yeah, you were an 11th round draft pick. Being drafted it doesn't matter because Cedric Mullins, 13th round draft pick, is a successful MLB player. Tom Brady was 7th round. Purdy, last pick in the NFL draft. Now he's one of the better players in the NFL, better quarterbacks. So all that matters is a team gave you a chance and you have a chance. And we'll talk about it later, but you're doing a really great job with your chance. Um, but you kind of talked about a little bit how you kind of fell and how you want to have a little bit more of a chip on your shoulder. So being an 11th round pick, does that put more like a chip on your shoulder? And does it make you want to work harder to make it to the big leagues?
I wouldn't say necessarily where I was drafted would like add any extra motivation. I mean, for me, just the opportunity itself is enough for me to work
Yeah,
hard and want to be a best player every day. So, um, truthfully, yeah, I mean, I'd love to say if I'm not the number 1 overall pick, it's adding motivation, right? I mean, that's kinda
exactly.
how I am, but just kind of how I'm wired. I mean, I always want to be better than my competition, just working harder and know that I'm doing my best to improve myself every day. So. I wouldn't say the position itself necessarily would make me push harder, but just the opportunity every day to go out and be a professional
Totally.
player and knowing that I have the opportunity to be a big leaguer one day is enough for me to want to grind and be a better player than I was yesterday every single day.
Hmm. So we talked earlier. Talked about how I think your stance reminds me a lot of Jason Kipnis. Um, but who personally do you model your game after? I have an idea. I'm thinking of a shortstop legend in San Francisco that won some World Series for you, but I'll let you say, and then I'll tell you who I think.
Yeah, I think you're talking about my guy Crawford. That
Yep.
was definitely a guy I looked up my whole life, being a Giants fan, and being that my dad actually works for the Giants. Got to be around him a tiny bit. Worked for his camp, and so yeah, that was definitely somebody that I grew up watching and idolizing. But for me, I mean, as far as like mimicking my game after, I've always kind of like shorter and skinnier players. That's kind of how
Yeah.
I am even to this day, and so for me, like if I was to go like nowadays, I mean, I'd love to say like hopefully one day a Tommy Edman because he's somebody that he's not the biggest guy, but he can play all types of
And
positions
it's
around
raking.
the field. Yeah, but he can play everywhere on the field, and that's hopefully where I want to get to one day. But growing up in high school and um, I always loved Javi Baez and like Francisco
Yeah.
Lindor. I mean, just being that I was an infielder, I mean, I love seeing all the plays they could make, the clutch
Hmm.
moments, and for me, I just love the swag that they brought every single day,
Exactly.
every single game. They've always been themselves, and they've had their own swag, and that's something I always idolize. I always idolize guys who didn't fear to be themselves, guys who wanted to be out there and play how they wanted to play and be unique. And so, I mean, that's something that I always idolize. I'd say like for me in high school, like especially like through that whole like 2016 to kind of 2019 era, like
Hmm.
I loved Javi Baez. I thought he was awesome and loved his flair for the game, and I loved how he was never afraid to be himself. And glad he's having another good year this
I
year.
was about to say, yeah, now, but he's in center now, and
Resurrected
he's becoming one of the
one of those
better.
guys, yeah, one of those Tommy Edmonds.
It's
Yep,
exactly who's
yep,
reviving himself on your. Sadly, he's not on the Giants. He's on the
yeah,
Dodgers, but
hmm,
that's where everybody goes and revives their careers. So like
yeah,
that's
sure,
kind of expected.
exactly.
So last year in Palm Beach, you hit a very respectable 263, and now this year with better competition, you're hitting a higher average with a 291. So what do you attribute that sort of jump in both? Like, yeah, the play is getting better, but also you're hitting better against better play. So what do you attribute to that?
Um, I'd say there's a lot. I worked really hard this offseason on just trying to improve my swing and not only improve my swing, just improve everything, improve my physicality, as a whole, being able to be more of a threat, on the bases as well. And so, I mean, truthfully, I have to give a lot of credit to just really just my environment, like I keep saying. But like the staff that we have here, in spring training, excuse me, and just last year and this year, I mean, I've had great environments, great teammates around me,
Mhm.
surrounding me. Spring training was great. I actually dealt with a minor injury for a little bit. Had a wrist strain, and so honestly, that actually helped my perspective a lot. Kind of from the middle to towards the end of March, I had a wrist strain, missed about a week and a half, and so kind of helped my perspective because I mean, truthfully, I wasn't having the greatest spring in the world. I wasn't crushing every single baseball, and but getting a little bit of time off to kind of refresh my perspective and, during that time span, I just wanted to hit so badly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something that's the one thing I love to do every day is I love to hit balls and love to swing. So, I mean, for me, kind of losing that aspect, kind of helped my perspective and I just want to get back to swinging so badly. And so, I mean, once I kind of came back from that injury, that's when I kind of started to
Hmm.
hit a lot of balls harder and catch more barrels. And so, leading in the season, I'd say like that last week in spring training helped my confidence, and so that along with just being here at this environment, I mean, I kind of felt early on that I felt like I belonged here, and super grateful for the staff and my teammates. They've done a great job making me feel welcome, and I'll give a lot of credit to my roommate actually, Ian Petretz. Me and him push each other every day, and being able to conversate with him, I mean, he's one of the best baseball minds I've gotten to be around, truthfully, my whole life. So
Yeah.
living with him and being able to talk to him about baseball pretty much every single night, I believe that's helped me a lot, honestly. I mean, when
Yeah.
we're able to, when we see the scouting report on the pitcher go out the night before, we're kind of able to go over it a little bit and talk about maybe our game plan or what pitches we're wanting to see for the next day. And so, truthfully, I'd just say that transition from year one to year two is the biggest improvement I'd say is just kind of being able to manage my routine and
Totally.
get it down to a T and being able to know that going into every single game that I'm prepared as I need to be. So, year one just kind of was figuring out what everything that I need to work on, the things that would get me right, or what does and what doesn't work for me. And as opposed to now in year two, I kind of have a clear idea of everything I need to do going into the game, knowing what I need to do to prepare myself each day. And
Yeah.
so it's less of a question now. It's more of a like, this is what I'm gonna do to make sure I
Hmm.
feel. So
Exactly. And you and I have talked even during the games. I remember, I think the last game I worked, I told you how I like hitting, fielding. Or no, I was talking to another one of the guys. I was telling him how I hate, because I'm an outfielder in my men's league. I hate fielding. I just
yeah,
hitting is the fun part. That's why I play baseball. That's why I played baseball, because
right.
hitting is the fun part, and hitting a ball hard and far is one of the best things in my opinion to do.
Yep.
What is something you want to see yourself? I know we're early on in your professional career, but what is something you want to see yourself grow in your like throughout your professional career? What is something you want to see yourself get better at?
It's a great question. For me, I like to look to myself even now kind of as a dynamic player, but really if I look down to like 2, 3 years down the road, I mean, I just want to have as little weaknesses as possible. You know, I want to be able to be looked at as a player where it's like that guy can do pretty much everything, you know. I mean, obviously the powers you need to develop, that's the one tool that I believe I'm farthest away from being
Hmm.
elite. But as far as the other tools in my game, I'm pretty confident, and I believe that I could even learn a couple more positions. And I mean, truthfully, I just want to be able to just kind of have no holes in my game. You know, I want to be able to, even though I want to develop some power, I mean, I want to be able to become a lot more flawless in my contact,
Exactly.
my execution, and my swing decisions, chasing less on balls that are out of the strike zone, and just things like that. I mean, really, if I just look down the road, I just want to be able to say, you know, that I hope that I'm a player that's like it's not like, oh, he doesn't have an arm, or oh, he doesn't have
Yeah,
power. You know, I just want to be a guy that's looked at and it's like, oh, this guy can provide a lot of different things for our team, and he can provide a lot of different ways to win. That's a big thing
totally.
for me is as a true competitor and as a player, you know, I just want to be able to do anything to win any night, and so truthfully, I just want to be able to have a lot of things in my bag and a lot of things in my pocket and whatever we need. You know, whether if it's laying down a bunt late in the game, being able to steal late in the game, being able to make a great play, being able to make a routine play, being able to move a runner over, hit a line drive or hit a double. You know, I want to be able to be complete as I possibly can be by the time I develop and get older throughout my career.
Totally. Yeah, that's great. You want to be one of those guys who's getting the 2020 30 season sort of, that's just now, which is crazy to think because of how like elite the talent is in baseball. That's like a normal thing, which
Yeah,
is
crazy.
insane to me, but
Yeah,
that's just how talented our game is. Like people like Aaron Judge, who is hitting 60, can hit 60 home runs and can also steal 30 bags. That just shouldn't happen, but it does. Um, so my next question, you're Asian American. What does that mean to you? And how do you kind of like you're an Asian American baseball player. What does that mean to you?
to me, it means a lot, actually. Thanks for bringing that up, actually. I mean, for me, I mean, I always want to be an inspiration to the generation after me. And so for me growing up, just being able to see like Asian American players and even Asian born players, I mean, always kind of gravitated to them and idolizing them. And so, like, for me, seeing that there's more and more Asian Americans coming to the game and being able to be more influential is awesome because, you know, I want a player that's younger, maybe Asian American like myself, to be able to say, you know, if John can do it, why can't I do it? You know, and so I think a lot of players right now have done a great job with that. You know, the Stephen Kwans of the world,
Yeah.
The Tommy Edmonds, like I mentioned, Corbin Carrolls, you know, they're all doing a great job for the younger guys right now at just being the best players that they can be and being able to be influential. But for me, it's something I take a huge pride in because, you know, I mean, even growing up, I mean, not a whole bunch of my teammates who were Asian American. You know, even being
Hmm.
in California, you know, maybe you'll get a couple on your team or maybe none. You know, so for me, being able to represent my culture and being able to represent my family as well is a huge deal for me. And for me, it's the biggest deal because I want to be an influence to any other Asian American who's younger and that's seeing me do it and saying just having somebody to look up to, you know, truthfully, and being able to say if he can do it, why can't I? So yeah, for
Exactly.
me, it's a really
Totally.
big
That's
deal.
yeah. And also another one that you forgot, Cardinals player Lars Nootbaar.
Yeah,
Learned
for
about him
sure.
a lot during the World Baseball Classic.
Hmm.
But you talked about your. I got two more questions for you. This is my second one. The last one I got for you. Are you chasing? You talked about that first. This one's not as serious. Are you chasing that first career homer? Like I played baseball, so I know what it means. You don't want to go into the box swing for a home run, but is that something that's kind of in the back of your head?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say yes and no, truthfully. Truthfully, a home run's always going to kind of be a byproduct of just a great swing. But yeah, I mean, of course, whenever I get that first one off my chest, it'll probably, I'm sure it'll feel good. But for me right now, I'm just trying to keep catching barrels every single day and finding ways on base. And hopefully, whenever it happens, it'll happen. So, I mean,
Exactly.
I gotta have faith in myself and trust that it's just going to happen. So, for me, I think I'm doing a decent job of being able to catch barrels and catch ball up front, and so I believe at some point here will be a byproduct
Oh yeah,
of the
totally.
hitting. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So yeah.
Because, like you said, I mean, like when I played and I would hit some home runs, it's you're not trying to. It's because you hit the ball hard and you hit a hard line drive. Like all
Yep.
those balls that guys pimp. Like the
Mhm.
first game I worked, Josh Baez, an absolute tank.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
and also that was his first home run in the Peoria system,
Right.
so that was cool
Mhm.
in itself. But if you look at it, it's a hard line drive. It's not a pop. It's a ball that's absolutely destroyed. That's just a kind of just raises.
Got a little
So
air under it. Yep.
exactly. So like you have a perfect swing for it, and you hit hard balls all the time. It's just a matter of eventually it'll go. And this is my last question. I feel like this is a great question to end this podcast on. What can Cardinals fans expect from you in the future?
Awesome. I think for me, they're gonna get a guy that's gonna give us 100% every single day, and like I brought up earlier, I hope that by the time the more they see me, that I'm a guy that can do a little bit of everything. I mean, truthfully, one day I want to be able to play more spots than not. I mean, I believe I can play pretty much every spot in the infield, and I think eventually I'll be able to learn some outfield as well. And so, I mean, for me, I just want them to see a guy who's having fun every single day, giving his all, and doing everything to win every single night. I believe you're going to see they'll see a true competitor that is going to lay his body and his mind out on the line every single day. And so that's all I want to be remembered by. I want to be remembered by that and by being a great teammate who cares for his teammates and cares about winning more than anything else. So
Exactly. Yeah, that's I mean, you know me, I'll be rooting for you no matter where you go, whatever happens. I'm always going to be rooting for you.
thank
When that first homework comes, it will be reposted. Do not worry.
heck
But
yeah.
thank you for taking time and being so approachable and cool with this podcast. It means a lot. For one, that you took it seriously and that you are taking time out of your busy schedule to make time for me. So, thank you. And guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with all your buddies. It means a lot. John, thanks a lot for your time.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it, ton.